This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app for that, and look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Let's see here. A couple things with regard to the old calendar. Chuck, I'm 52, and I have to have a computerized calendar so my assistant can upload things to it or see if I'm available. However, I still make a paper checklist for every day because I get great satisfaction drawing a line through each task I complete. That from Lindale Jeff. Yes, I'm of the same deal. I like that's the satisfaction I get that I can check something off my list.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
I take this satisfaction in drawing a line through something I've done too. But that being said, I'm not one that makes a ton of lists to cross off. But when I do, I like it.
Okay.
Which means I probably should do it more.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Means maybe we don't have enough tasks for you.
There may or may not be someone in this building that makes a list and puts things they've already done on the list so that they can cross them off as they write their list.
Oh, they're not the only people that do that.
Oh, is that you?
No. You ever seen me make a list? Ever?
I'm not monitoring your work, sir.
I'm not a list maker.
Okay.
It may or may not have gotten me in trouble from time to time when a list might have helped me.
Yeah.
I am not a list maker.
That sounded rather dismissive towards someone in this building.
I laugh at this particular person when he does this. Yes. Making a list of things you need to do, haven't done yet, no issue. Putting a list together of things that you've already finished so that you can cross them off. I laugh at that.
Okay.
All right.
Like, I'm already awake this morning. Wake up. Cross off the list. Look, put on pants. Cross the list.
Wow. We got Surly Jeff this morning. All right, I have an admission to make, and now, and I'm curious as to you guys' thoughts on this. And it probably doesn't completely speak well for me, but I'm willing to make this admission. If you would have asked me a week ago where the college football national championship game was going to be held, I would have guessed a lot of cities other than Houston before I got to Houston.
I didn't know it was in Houston until they said it in one of the semifinal games last week.
Yeah, and I guess that, well, I don't guess. I mean, that really surprised me. It's like Houston, because not that I have anything wrong with Houston or anything like that, and I mean, I'm sure NRG is fine and all that kind of stuff, but I really kind of thought that we were kind of saving the national championship games for one of those traditional college football venues. And I don't necessarily think of NRG or even Houston as a college football town.
Fair.
And, you know, and I'm guessing they won a bid.
Sure.
You know, and good for them for doing that. But, you know, it's just not. I was in Houston this past weekend with the Lady Raiders, and we generally we stay pretty close to the arena when we go and to a city. And I mean, as everybody knows, Houston is a huge city. I just have never been a big fan of Houston, and the traffic even on Saturday morning was just more than what my patients really wanted to deal with. But I was a patient rider.
I was going to say, I mean, the traffic on the Marcia Sharp at 5:30 on a Tuesday morning is too much for you.
Sometimes,
so it's probably not.
I know. It's not that I can't drive in traffic. It's just, again, it's another fault of mine, the patience, and just, you know, hey, you might have to wait through more than one red light here, but I don't know. It's unlike Dallas. I mean, Dallas, we're kind of used to a lot of big games there. They've had a habit of having, you know, games in September, non-conference games involving whether it's Alabama or other schools like that, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Texas, whatever. We've become accustomed to that, and obviously Dallas has the rich history of the Cotton Bowl,
but we've also become accustomed to Houston playing host to big events, right? They've Super Bowls and Final Fours and all that, and they may not be and I agree with your point. They're not like a big college football town, but I mean, the fans from those two schools are going to flock there to go watch the game, and it's going to become a college football town for a couple days.
You're
with their fans that are there to watch it.
You're right. It just won't. I don't know. It just feels like it should be in a city that can be kind of more spotlight on that. I just feel like it's going to get lost in the shuffle.
What's going to get lost?
Just the whole, like the atmosphere, the national championship kind of flavor, the whole, just. I don't know, the pomp and circumstance, the pageantry of it, the whole lead up to the game, and then the game itself, and then the post game spillage that takes place after that. I just feel like it's in the wrong city, and there's been some clamoring for a last minute venue change, which is not going to happen. Folks feel like that the final Big 12 or Big 10, Pac-12 Big 10 matchup should be played at the Rose Bowl. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that this game should have been played at the Rose Bowl, because they would have wanted it to kick at 4 o'clock in the afternoon so the sun could set on the San Gabriel Mountains and they could have their picturesque view of the Rose Bowl, which
I bet the Michigan folks didn't want that, because, it would have been way closer to Washington. Right.
So anyway, I was just like I said, I was surprised by that when I learned that it was Houston. I was like, how did I miss that? But then it's not like it's been highly publicized that Houston was going to host the national championship game.
I don't know. It just feels like when in the Final Four, they always have the name in the logo.
Yeah.
The Final Four logo each year, and it's the the road to whatever.
Right.
Whatever, and we just don't make as big of a deal about the venue of where the football game is being played for the national championship game for whatever reason, and I have no issue with that. I don't think it matters. I think it's the two fan bases that are going to provide the atmosphere and the pomp and circumstances and all that. It's not the stadium itself.
Yeah, well,
and you know me, I only care about the game itself. As long as I got a football field with 2 end zones and 100 yards in between them, then I'm good.
10 yards at a time too.
Yeah, I don't really need the pomp and the circumstance.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why you don't feel like Houston can have that.
I don't know. It just feels. It's just such a cluttered, busy city.
So your issue is more with just Houston, not them hosting the game.
Yeah.
But again, they've hosted Super Bowls and Final Fours.
I didn't say it was rational. I didn't say it was rational. This, Chuck, you're missing the obvious connection with the championship venue. Michigan will be playing in Houston, a.k.a. sign-stealing city. Oh. They'll probably hide the trash cans.
Sounds like a bit of a stretch for an Astros hater there to get that. Right. Not saying not funny, but...
Someone's been working on their yoga this morning.
Yeah.
Sounds like the only list happening so far today are the things that annoy Chuck. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to be on your list of Chuck annoying you. But then sometimes that happens as well. Anyway, I saw that and just kind of went, huh? That's kind of.
I had like I said, when I heard them say that in one of the games, I don't remember which one it was on Monday. I was like, oh, didn't know it was in Houston.
Yeah, with Houston. What do you? I really, frankly, what I was thinking about was like, what kind of crack are you on, man? He got this wrong, and then later on realized he was right.
And I just assume those guys know,
sure.
Herb Street and those guys, they know what they're talking about.
Right.
They know their travel plans for the next week.
Sure. And it wasn't Herb Street. I think it was Tarico or somebody like that. And speaking of Herb Street, just one, I find his whole dog in the broadcast booth and all around the stuff, I find that annoying as well. I was just like, you would never take your dog on a road trip, would you? Would you demand that Winfield go on the team bus or in the broadcast booth at the various stadiums that you go go to?
I don't demand much, Chuck. Yeah.
You demand excellence from your staff, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we rarely provide it for you. 6:40 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Your thoughts, your comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. This Day in Sports History is next on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with This Day in Sports History. Today is January the 4th, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
I have an overall update for you too, Chuck.
Okay, great.
We're down to 22 days of the calendar year that I don't have something so far.
Okay, good.
Now, 3 of them we've given up on.
This is for Texas Tech Sports.
Right. 3 of them we have given up, wave the white flag, not going to find them unless something happens in the future. But we're down to 22 total days.
Okay.
1942, however, 7-time National League batting champion Rogers Hornsby is the 14th player selected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Feels pretty fitting. 1970, AFL Championship, Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland. Kansas City Chiefs beat the Oakland Raiders 17-7. Chiefs defense forces 4 interceptions in the game.
Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber, was the quarterback for the Oakland Raiders, number 3. I mean, he looked like a scoundrel.
Did he look like a scoundrel, or did he just play for the Raiders?
Well, a little
I think
bit
the two go hand in hand.
column A and column B.
1976, for the NFC Championship in the L.A. Memorial Coliseum, Dallas Cowboys beat the Rams 37-7. That team could win on the road. 1986, NCAA basketball's David Robinson blocks a record 14 shots.
The Admiral.
In 2000, a day after accepting the head coaching position of the New York Jets, Bill Belichick resigns and moves to the New England Patriots.
The 30 for 30 and the video on that is it's fantastic.
2010, in the 39th Fiesta Bowl, number 6 Boise State beats number 3 TCU 17-10. And in 2020, Jamias Ramsey scored 18 points. TJ Holyfield went for 17 and 7 rebounds to help the number 22 Texas Tech Red Raiders to an 85-50 win over Oklahoma State. It is National Spaghetti Day.
Wow.
Good day.
How about that? We had spaghetti the other night. Had some leftovers last night after the Lady Rita game. Should have waited until today. Maybe I'll have some more leftovers today.
Maybe.
Spaghetti. You're a fan of the spaghetti, right? Okay.
Big time.
Couple of really big birthdays today for us. Happy birthday to one of the smartest people that works here. Garrett Luft turns 41.
He is.
I saw that ladder video.
I said one of. I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know that he may have lost that title.
He is 41, trapped in a 61-year-old's body. I mean, he is he's got the mind of a seasoned person, and that is a compliment.
No, another one of our
41-year-old trapped in the mind of a 61-year-old's body. I don't think he looks anywhere close to 61.
No. But I mean, I guess
I'm not entirely sure he looks close to 41.
I guess really what could be better said is he is way mature beyond his age.
Yeah. I think you are closer to being trapped in a 61-year-old body. Yes, he's more mature than the rest of us.
He was born old. How about that? He was born old.
Also celebrating a birthday today, one of our favorites, Davis Martin turns 27 today.
Nice.
He's done pitching, right?
No.
Is
He's coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Okay.
Right now,
Is he still with your White Sox?
He's still on the White Sox because they haven't traded him yet.
Man.
Oh, Chuck had him retired. Gosh, 27.
Well,
Gosh.
I knew he had some arm challenges. I just didn't know if he was still playing or not.
Well, all pitchers do.
True.
Also, happy birthday to Chris Bryant, who's 32. Victor Wembanyama is 20. Derrick Henry, 30, and Scott Frost is 49. And on this day in 1982, President Ronald Reagan signs off on a top-secret document, the National Security Decision Directive 17, the NSDD 17, which gives the CIA the power to recruit and support a 500-man force of Nicaraguan rebels to conduct covert actions against the leftist Sandinista regime in Nicaragua. A budget of $19 million was established for the purpose. NSDD-17 marked the beginning of the official U.S. support of the so-called Contras.
Yeah. Well, Oliver North came to me and said, we got to get these bad guys.
And that is the Stan Sports History.
Shelley says this, God, I'm older than Luft. I know. There's a lot of times on the Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show that he acts the most mature in the room.
I've been in that room.
You're there also. I mean, it's not a high bar.
No, it's not. It's not a high bar.
Listen, I'm an adult because I pay my bills. I go to work every morning. I do adult things, which is why I get adult privileges.
Right.
I am not mature. I don't even pretend.
Yeah. Bullfighter says this, forgot I shared a birthday with some legendary people. Is it the Bullfighter's birthday today? If so, happy birthday, Bullfighter.
Clearly, I think it is.
We need to.
Yeah,
you need to put that in your Rolodex.
Yeah, put that in there.
Celebrity birthdays.
Do you know how many?
Yes, we want them. We want them all. Everybody email Jeff your birthday.
Yeah, put them in there.
Put them in there.
This from the Dallas Morning News this morning. The Dallas Cowboys have agreed to a practice deal with former Red Raider running back SaRodorick Thompson. He had spent some time with the Seattle Seahawks in a similar role and also had appeared in at least a game. So they've signed him along with linebacker Damian Wilson and wide receiver Racy McMath.
Racy. That's a good name for a wide receiver.
Yeah, right. And then two people, according to this article, close to the situation, said that offensive tackle Lyle Collins is expected to sign today. I thought he had already signed, but
I feel like they had already agreed to terms or agreed to sign. Maybe today is just the official signing.
And this for those that are on the Cowboy practice squad. Anybody the Cowboys release from the practice squad will still receive payment for the week. Okay, just look at your compensation for this.
Just so you know.
Just so you know. So, yeah, SaRodorick Thompson. He is a Dallas Cowboy. 6:55 this morning here on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was just the music in my ears that I was hearing. I'm sorry. We will have.
See, some people cross off their calendar way early because they can't wait till Friday. There are other people that may or may not work in this building, Jamie. They cross off the entire section of a show because they want to go get coffee in the break room.
No, it's just muscle memory. I'm sorry. We'll have Red Raider basketball with Grant McCaslin tonight at 6 o'clock on this fine radio station. And we'll have
fine radio station.
highly
tuned,
highly produced. Right. That'll be from 6 until 7 tomorrow night. It's high school basketball. The Friendship Girls play at San Angelo. Among the games that we'll have on the air for you tomorrow. All right. It all continues. Next after Sports Center.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We'll have our first edition of Red Raider basketball with Grant McCaslin tonight. That'll be at 6 o'clock this evening here on Double T 97.3. So your chance to hear from the head basketball coach of Texas Tech University. That'll be from 6 to 7. Red Raiders are 11-2 on the season. They'll open up conference play on Saturday night. They'll take on Texas down in Austin. This program will also feature tonight Joe Toussaint and assistant coach Matt Brower. Okay. So that'll be tonight from 6 until 7. Your humble host is Jeff Hexton.
Boy, this is a tough question off the chat line. UT has now smoked football and women's basketball. Bad omen for men's basketball on Saturday. Eesh. We did have that game-winning header in soccer.
Yeah, right.
So it was that.
Let's see, if I'm Grant McCaslin, he'd say, yeah, I just looked at my roster. None of my guys played in those games. Right?
Totally fair. Totally fair.
But it's also totally fair to say, is that a bad omen?
This is also the guy that says that Tech football can't be, Oklahoma State on any given day because they lost to them on that day 37 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In a certain uniform.
I've been known to bring those stats up, yes. Or the fact that you lost to Slippery Rock in like 1939 or whatever.
I'm going to start asking the sports information department to not put that stuff on there.
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll make a resolution this year, Jamie. Maybe I'll make a resolution this year that I will not lament the historical aspect of the days during Optimum Game Day Live, and I will not give you the uniform record. Okay?
It feels like it's kind of become fun.
Okay. It feels like it's kind of
our shtick.
Kind of become fun.
It's ours. We kind of own it, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of mine.
We're the show that gives the useless information.
Hey, just
won't affect the game.
Just trying to, give Claude and Maud and, Sam and Gert, a little extra info as they're coming to the ball game so they can tell Jennifer and Steve, what's going on down there. So that everybody can be just a little bit more informed when they walk into the stadium. Yeah.
Okay.
Just trying to give them just a little tidbits of information. It doesn't make you feel real good, does it? About Saturday, but like I said, none of those guys played in that football game or that women's hoops game last night. That was really disappointing last night. In how that you played and how that you were dominated and how that you just couldn't make a game of it. If you'd, all the things that happened last night were all things that I was concerned about. The offensive rebounding of Texas, the second chance points of Texas, the pressure that they were going to put on you. Could you handle that and respond to that? And then the points off turnovers and the second chance points. All those things were all things that were like things that you were concerned about.
The interesting thing, or maybe one of the more disappointing things to me last night was, well, first off, I've been really worried about the rebounding and the interior stuff.
Sure.
You've played a small lineup because you're not able to get anything out of your bigs. And so you're playing a small lineup, and I love Kyla Freeland's game, but I just don't think that she can, by herself, handle all the bigs that she's going to have to deal with in this conference. And again, I want to everybody to take into account that Texas is probably going to have more depth in the inside than any team in the conference. Maybe Baylor would compete with them, and I know K-State's got their great player, but they just brought in waves and waves and waves of players, including one who used to play for you, which is super fun. But one of the things that was really disappointing to me last night is it felt like a lot of your turnovers were not, forced turnovers with their press. It was you in the half court just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
How many backdoor cuts, how many turnovers did we see off a backdoor cut where the pass was thrown badly behind them or it just wasn't there? And they were forcing it. I'm seriously, I bet they turned the ball over 6 times trying to throw backdoor cuts. Too far out front, too far behind. It just wasn't there. And to me, that was a team that was sped up and panicked and just not, got punched in the mouth and just wasn't able to respond, and then just, got away from their game. And so that to me was, there was not a calming influence on the floor that was like, hey, we're good, we're all right. And it just felt like those were unforced turnovers, in my opinion, that just were again, I don't know if. So part of the deal is this: is that Texas has no respect for your inside game, none whatsoever. Okay, none whatsoever. So where are all their guards playing? They're playing tight on the outside. That's why Jada Wynn and all the other girls weren't able to get a bunch of open threes. Okay, because they have no respect.
Yeah, they kept pushing you further and further and further out.
No respect for you throwing the ball into the post. Okay, so their defense, they're extending their defense out to the 3-point line, even beyond at certain points. Okay, so you're going, okay, so what are we supposed to do? Any basketball player knows. What are we supposed to do if they're overplaying us on the outside? Backdoor cut. And you were terrible at handling it. Yeah. Just terrible. Again, I bet there were 6 or 7 turnovers on backdoor cuts. And I mean, that was. You
just couldn't handle the basketball either. I mean, it seemed like you were just all thumbs.
Yeah. I don't know. Coach Gerlich, I think, has done a great job with bringing in more talent. I think that you're looking at 4 sophomores right now that you're playing big minutes that you can build around, but there just still has to be more depth.
Need some size too.
You couldn't drive on them. They would hedge high, and you couldn't get around them. They just have no concerns with you throwing the ball into the post, and so it just allowed their defense to be just really frenetic and frantic on the outside and make it difficult for your guards.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I agree with this. And she came in and hit a couple of threes, but it didn't matter. But it seemed like Riley McKinney and her energy came in a little too late. That was a horrible game to watch last night. Yeah. And I thought,
I mean, Riley's been, a darn near no-show for most of the season. So it was nice to see her knock down a couple of shots. And then
she came in and she kind of directed traffic a little bit too. Yeah. I mean, she had a little bit of a calming influence. So it just, like this person said, it was too little, too late. Yeah. Bobby Hot Dogs wants to know how many Gerts attend the average game. I don't know.
Gerts.
I'll get with the ticket office.
Doesn't a Gert sound like a thing a measurement?
A Gert? How many Gerts?
How many Gerts in a gallon, or how many Gerts? A form of a measurement, right?
Yeah, form of a measurement. How many Gerts in a gallon?
Or in a foot, or in a ton, or I don't know.
Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. They look scared. Yeah, I mean they were. I don't know about scared, but they certainly got intimidated last night. I mean and they got dominated last night, and then they stopped. There were times when I felt like, okay, they're going to foul you. All right, they're going to foul you. So just drive to the hoop. Just go north and south, because they're going to foul you. But you get to the top of the key, top of the 3-point line, and stop. And then they kept pushing you further and further and further out. And then you couldn't throw a bounce pass in the lane to save your soul, because Texas was they're just too big. They're too long, too athletic. They knew exactly where they were supposed to be. And they probably came in a little angry because they got beat by Baylor at home. And so they've had that opportunity to grieve a little bit for their loss of Harmon and Taylor Jones, and probably came in with a chip on their shoulder, and they seized your arena and took it, and they made it all happen last night. And like I said, the disappointing thing for me was that it just wasn't competitive last night at all. That was unfortunate.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Time now for Jamie's question of the day on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Okay, gentlemen. You can choose to be positive. You can choose to be negative. You can choose to be funny. You can choose to be serious. You can choose any of those things.
Okay.
It is that time of the year where we all make our New Year's resolutions. Okay? We're actually a little late, about a week late.
Okay.
Okay? I want you each to make 2 New Year's resolutions if you were Joey McGuire.
If you were Joey McGuire, okay.
Like, never accept a jacket from a radio guy.
I didn't pick it out, okay? I just followed through on what I said I was going to do. Right? I just,
So if you were making 2 resolutions and you were Joey McGuire, what would they be? Like, hey, don't ever climb a ladder into the sky again. I don't know.
Well, I think one resolution would be, well, I want him to be positive and upbeat and gregarious and outgoing. Just kind of tap the brakes on the expectations for the season, just because it got out of control, and we as all fans, et cetera, got caught up in the wave, and to the point where we weren't going to accept 9 wins, before the start of the season, and or even 10, Who
was saying no to 9 wins?
I think all of us were saying no to
8.
8 was
8 where we were like, yeah, I like your chances for 9.
Yeah.
This team could probably win 8, but I like your chances for 9.
Anyway,
why we wouldn't
just
take 8.
Tap the brakes just to skosh on
Only one of us said we'd start 11-0.
I got caught up in the wave.
Tidal wave, apparently.
Yeah, tidal wave, and then it became a tsunami, and that was, tsunamis are never good. I think the other thing that I would like to say to him is, make a resolution to use my gut more than the book of analytics, and tap the brakes on going for it from my own 30-yard line on 4th and whatever. Those are 2 things for me.
Resolution number 1, cameras out of the locker room. That's for us. You guys want to talk to me on the field? You want to see me in a press conference? That's great. But when I'm cheering with my team and celebrating with my team, that's for us.
And you realize he has control of that. Those are
why it's his resolution.
Those are Texas Tech's cameras.
Yeah. Cameras out of the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
This is for us. You want to see us celebrating on the field? I'm all for it. This is for us. Number 2, I will never again say that our offensive line will be our strength of our team until we can push another team across the field in one play, because that's how good they are. They can be improved.
Mm-hmm.
I can like where they're at. They're never going to be our strength of a team verbally until they physically move a mountain, because that's where part of our problem started.
Okay. I'm going to go with Joey McGuire's going to say, and I'm fully admitting these may be things he's already saying to himself. Okay. This recruiting class, I'm 100% focused on offensive linemen. 100% focused on offensive line. That is my main priority. Offensive line in the next recruiting class. Okay. I just think you need to get better there. I think you need to improve the numbers there. That to me, it feels like we have a good group of skill position players coming through, what we already have, guys that are added to the mix, but we got to get better on that offensive line if we're going to get back to being a great offensive team again. So that's first. Okay. Offensive line, focus, priority, whatever. And again, that may already be the case. I don't know. Okay. And number 2, he's already said this, but I'm gonna say it for him. Okay, figure out what you do well, faster, and do it more. Okay, figure out what it shouldn't have taken 4 weeks to figure out you were best at running the ball with Tosh Brooks.
You got to figure that out in the spring or the fall.
Yeah.
Way before the first game.
Now, in Coach's defense, he said, I watched us in the spring, I watched us in fall camp, and I thought we were going to be able to sling it around the yard and be really good in the passing game and use the running game when we needed to. And, that was clearly a swing and a miss. Just like I think the offensive line is going to be a strength of ours. Also a swing and a miss. Okay.
Well, at least the running game, they did a good job of opening up holes for the running game. The offensive line did.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a total failure.
No, I would agree. I would agree. But I just think those are again, they may be things that he's already said. One of them I know he has, and he may be saying the same thing about next year's class. Hey, we got to focus on offensive line. That has to be our number one priority. All those things. But those are my two resolutions. I'll say this, okay? First, about one of Jeff's, okay, the cameras in the locker room thing. We had this conversation one day. I don't remember if you were here or not, Chuck. Cameras in the locker room is okay. I think there should be time when it's the coach and his players, right? There is that length of time, whatever it is, 5 minutes after a game, where it's just them, where it's real, okay? And it's just them. If you want to bring the cameras in after that, okay, as part of the celebration, that's fine, to hype up your program and to sell your program and all that. But I think there should be something sacred and special about those moments with coaches and players, and your camera shouldn't be in there. Yeah. Okay? And I
if you have a 5-minute cool down, that gives you that opportunity for the coach to have that conversation.
Yeah. And because I also think that a lot of the stuff that we see on camera from coaches is them playing to the cameras. Okay? So, like, give them their real stuff, and then we'll do here's what we got to do social media-wise. Okay? Separate those two things. The hype thing that you brought up at the beginning, I just don't know what people expected him to say. I mean, okay, so maybe like him saying, I think we're 2 touchdowns better than last year's team. Maybe he shouldn't say that, but I think he believed it.
Oh, yeah, I think he believed everything that he said.
And again, the offensive line, I mean, we don't want him to drag around town going to these luncheons and be like, I don't know, I think we might be all right. We'll see. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, if we can do this, maybe we'll get to a bowl. I mean, I don't know what we expect.
No, but there's a happy medium, too, between the two.
That's fair. Where did he go overboard? Again, I think he said things that he believed that turned to be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, where they misevaluated or guys didn't perform like he expected them to perform, a.k.a. the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean...
like I said, it was just a bit. I mean, and look, and I loved it. I loved the enthusiasm. I loved what he's saying. And maybe we as fans have to just not take it to the next level beyond what he already says, because I think there was some of that too. I think we all got caught up in the...
He was saying what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, right. And it became a runaway train. And then after the...
I mean, what would we say if he went into one of these kickoff luncheons or breakfasts and be like, if we can stay healthy, I think we can be a 500 team. We'd be like, what? Okay. What would we say after a recruiting day where he was like... Yeah, we got some guys. We think they can play.
Okay, that's the pendulum swinging
Chuck's
completely
favorite saying is that we hear all the media members say, they really like this guy. They really like her. I mean, who brings a kid and they don't really like?
Right, okay, but that's also the pendulum swinging completely the other way. There's a giant middle ground of the... Listen, we've got to replace a starting quarterback this year. We've got to get our offensive line going in the right direction. We've got a ton of leadership on defense that we're trying to figure out, and we think we've got some answers for it. And we're excited about the guys in these opportunities. And our offensive line is going to get better because they've got to get better. And they've improved in the offseason and done all these things.
But he has also said that he believes what he says, too.
All of that can be said and be that giant middle ground where you can still be excited about what you've got, but also not looking at your team thinking they're going to win the Super Bowl and then lose 6 games.
Well, he didn't say they were going to win the Super Bowl. He didn't. I mean... Did any of us not believe that we could compete for a Big 12 championship? To be in the Big 12 title?
We all
believed it.
Yeah. Sure.
It's not his fault that we believed it. We looked at what you had returning.
Yeah.
Okay? We looked at the rest of the conference. We felt like you had a legit shot. And I thought you did. You just didn't perform. Period.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning, as we do every morning, from the First United Bank studio and all throughout the day today as well. We look forward to hearing from you again on the Yates Flooring Center chat line and also on the Visual Edge IT hotline. We'll have Red Raider basketball with Grant McCaslin tonight. That's at 6 o'clock from 6 until 7. Red Raider Joe Toussaint will join the program as well. Jeff Haxton is the humble host, and that'll be again tonight from 6 until 7. Red Raiders are in action on Saturday night. They'll take on Texas down in Austin. If you had a question for Grant McCaslin, what would your question be tonight? What's something you really want to know?
Something I really want to know. I would probably ask him about Robert Jennings' progress.
Okay.
And where he feels he is, and does he feel like he's gonna earn himself even more time?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Jeff, do you have anything for Coach McCaslin tonight?
I really don't yet. I mean, I don't know what to ask yet about this team. They're trending in the right direction. You haven't played anybody. And you could make the argument the two teams you played with the Pulse didn't look great against. Mm-hmm. But you also seen signs of improvement since then. So I'm not banging on the team yet. I'm just sitting back watching, which is better than where I thought we'd be when we were getting ready for this team at the end of last season.
I didn't think you looked that bad against Butler. You lost that game, but on the road, your only real road game, I thought you looked pretty good against them still, even though you lost.
Do you feel like, we talked about this with football, how it took a while for them to understand or recognize or play to their strength. Do you feel like this? You have the identity of this team down yet?
Yeah, I don't think that wasn't difficult to figure out. That the identity of this team is Toussaint and Pop Isaacs. Mm-hmm. Toussaint driving and kind of being the heart and soul, and Isaac shooting from outside. And
the sharing of the ball as well. I mean, they've done a really good job of that.
Done a great job with that.
Yeah.
Really good job.
Okay. This from Albert. He says, "Forgive me if I'm late to the conversation, but can someone answer this question? Did Drew Steffi leave the program?" Well, he's no longer with the team right now. He's with his family. So that's.
And you asked me what question I would like to ask. I'm being a realist. I don't think you're going to get anything more from Coach McCaslin. Two people on the chat line, you're absolutely right. That would be the question. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to say anything more than he's already said.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. He's not with us. He's
welcome back.
He's welcome back.
He's not with us right now.
He's not with us right now.
Dealing with a family personal issue.
Yeah. This saw the boys in the boat yesterday. I highly recommend it. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie.
Oh, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
Looks really good.
Is that something you would?
Nah, I wouldn't pay to go to a theater and watch it.
Okay. It's been a while.
Too cheap for that. It'll come out on something sooner or later.
Okay.
Something I'm already paying for, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay. Somebody says this, wish we could have had a tougher non-conference schedule for men's basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And I would say that for women's basketball too. And I would say I would like for some of those tougher games to be at home.
Yeah, right. All those things, but that's not the reality of what you have right now when it comes to basketball, unfortunately. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Grant, this is Coach McCaslin, stopped the free fall from last year, but he's not going to get you back to a national championship game like before. To get back to that, then when do you hire a coach that can get you back there? Well, how do you know that he can? He's only been here a handful of months.
It's impressive. He can see the future.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to say one way or the other on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his resume, he's gotten teams to that level, whether it's junior college or even what he did with North Texas last year. And you can say, well, with the NIT,
it's a different level.
It's a different level. There's no question about it. But he's proven that he can win.
Yeah, and he's proven to be a good coach. And There are a lot of coaches out there that didn't have a national championship until they won a national championship.
Right.
And let's
give him some time.
Let's also just not bypass that he stopped the free fall.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do in college sports.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to improve your life in college athletics. You got to recruit better. Those players have to develop. You have to get going. It is so easy to fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, but I would tell you right now in basketball, it's the easiest time to ever do that.
Sure.
Because every year everybody's starting over again, it feels like.
But you still have to turn that tide.
Sure, and I think he's done a great job with that.
He should be given credit for it. Let's just not bypass it it's just a thing. No, you were ready to burn the building down.
Yeah, if I'm giving Grant McCaslin a grade so far, since the day he was hired till now, I mean, I'm definitely at an A.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say A+, but I'm gonna say A.
Feels like you've kind of righted the ship a little bit.
Sure. With where my expectations were, you're right there.
Yeah. Washed up guy offers this advice. I'm probably not going to take it, but he offers this advice. Read the book Boys in the Boat before you see the movie.
Okay.
How thick's the book?
I'm looking that up right now.
How many pictures are there?
How many pictures are there? I mean, I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. I'm still. I got a couple different. I think I got 2 or 3 books that I'm still trying to read on planes. That I read a few pages and I start to fall asleep. So
it sounds like you need to pick better books.
Well, I mean, these are compelling books that I am interested in.
Don't seem very compelled if you're falling asleep.
Well, I know, but I mean,
I can't do anything but sleep almost on a plane.
I just kind of...
Man, as soon as I take off, man, I am dozing. I don't care if I had 12 hours of sleep the night before.
Every flight, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Sit in the seat, 7 minutes, out. Wake up, touchdown, back up, let's go.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about flying.
Yeah.
There's something with the air pressure or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was on a flight the other night, and when we landed, it was like... I mean, it was like the guy didn't realize that we were landing. It was like, boom. I mean, it's like, and everybody's like, whoa. It's like, did you know the runway was there? Did you see it?
I think it always feels that way if you're not paying attention.
400.
Like you, the passenger, is not paying attention. It feels like, man, that was a rough landing. But if you know it's coming, it's not.
Well, I mean, it was hard. I mean, it rattled the masses a little bit.
According to the website you buy everything on, 404 pages.
That's more than I'm interested in.
It's about 400 too long for Chuck.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Coach has done a great job so far with what talent he has. Everyone knows we're at least one big man short. So Big 12 will be a gauntlet, hoping for a 500 record in the Big 12.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
Yeah. I think you're spot on.
You can get the paperback for like $13 though. So there you go.
And I'm not into the audio books. I just can't.
Maybe it could be your New Year's resolution to read a book.
Read a book.
Audio books are great for road trips because it's someone talking to you the whole time.
Yeah.
I also do not need that.
I don't pay attention to those. I have zero desire to listen to a book.
I got too many people talking to me during the day. I don't need it from my car.
Yeah. You just need a little peace and quiet, right?
Or 80s music.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.